Alright, so I really, really, really love this game. I like it a lot. I just really, really like when I saw videos of gameplay on it online and got the gist of what it was. I absolutely fell in love with it. And like when right after what I saw, I went to myself, "Oh man, I gotta get this game. I really need to have it." And well, unfortunately, when I finally got it, it was pretty old by then. But for me, the experience was so new. I mean, but I first heard of it. I first heard of this game. I think it was 3 years ago or six. I don't really know. I was really young at this time at that time, and I thought to myself, I gotta get this game. And after through some tough times and difficult struggles in terms of cash and stuff like that, and finally in 2017 I finally got this game, and I was just so happy. One of the things I really love doing. And the game that, of course, the game that I'm talking about is, of course, Just Cause 2, and I think it's definitely up there in one of my all-time favorite video games on all time. Well, I'm talking about the PC version, which is on Steam right now. And when I first started playing it, I was just starting out of the experience, so I'm still trying to learn new things along the way. But the more I play, the more connected I feel with this game. One of the things I liked to do in Just Cause 2 was to spawn a vehicle on top of a cliff and then drive off it, and I watch myself tumble down as if I was a drunk lunatic. I was kind of a dumb back then, or whatever. But also one of the things that really the game one of the things that the game really one of the things that really got my attention in this game is what it had in terms of audio. Like a lot of the audio clips and the audio elements that are in this game really caught my attention. And in this video, I'm going to take a look at this game and observe very closely about the audio elements in this game. So what you're going to see here in a moment is a little quick gameplay clip, and eventually and during as I'm playing the game, I'm going to point out some important information in terms of the audio elements that are in the game. Like, for example, why is it a good idea that the music? Why is it good that this music soundbite plays whenever this happens, or why does this sound play when you get injured, or why do these sounds come up every now and then, or whatever. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm just gonna analyze and critique on the audio in this game as it is heard throughout the recording. So if you're ready, then I'm ready. Let's head on over to the computer and let's go ahead and play the game Just Cause 2.
Time to meet the criminal factions and make some new best friends.
One of the things I find very interesting in Just Cause 2, in terms of audio analyzing the audio, is the fact that I can actually listen to what the characters are saying / thinking in whatever form of dialogue they have. This is proven by the subtitles down at the bottom and the aforementioned dialogue accompanied with it. The fact that I can actually hear to what they're saying or thinking is very important, because sometimes whatever dialogue is spoken basically helps you forward onto the next mission. So if one character says, okay Rico, for example, go to place A, and then Rico says, I'm at place B or something, and or maybe find a helicopter nearby. Any information like that, where they actually help you progress along throughout the game, is very important. And to add to that, if you were to listen to the second form of dialogue, where one person was talking to Rico via walkie-talkie or a phone or something like that, one of the things that I also find interesting is that I can overhear their phone conversation. So that's very important. So, I was told that about what to avoid, what to avoid in terms of criminal factions or whatever. The fact that I can actually hear their conversation on what to avoid, what criminal factions on what to avoid or to be careful around is very important because, well, actually, it's very important because if I were to cause chaos right around them, I'm pretty much on the wanted list for those guys. And also, if you were to listen to the radio, you also hear that the radio is near. You also be able to hear the radio that's going on. Even though Rico couldn't, I don't think Rico can hear it. However, the game is set up in such a way that where I can listen to the news and whatever is going on, like any emergency situations going on. So I don't think Rico can actually hear it, but I know that I can. So pretty much the fact that so the fact that I can listen to any important information that the main characters can't is actually very, very, very important. So that way I can stay updated on what the people are looking for. So that's very important. So I think that's pretty beneficial. Listening to stuff where the main characters can't. So right now I'm actually at the black market, and I want to talk about that. So first off, if you want to get like an item from the black market, one of the first things you have to do is to basically call the black market by pressing the 4 key on your keyboard if you're playing the Steam edition, and then you have to press E once you get a signal. And after you get the signal, one of the first things that you'll hear is you'll hear this sort of like Western music, followed by a gruff, "Hey, how's it going today? What can I help with you today?" How do I say this? Like the music and the voice accompanying it just basically tell you, oh, this guy has got all the good stuff. He knows what he's doing, and he has some good stuff that may help me out in my future mission. So basically, this music and whoever's I would have to say the person who voiced this this man who's going like, "How may I help you today?" was actually pretty good, because I could tell that how do I say this? I could tell that he has all the good stuff, and if you just give him a call, he'll deliver one to you. So that's actually pretty beneficial. No, not beneficial. That's actually pretty good, I think. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, I'm here inside this this ice cream. I'm inside a vehicle right now, and right now I'm gonna cause chaos right here, and you'll see that I received a heat level 1, and when I receive, and how do I know this? Well, other than the icon shown in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, one of the, what happens when you immediately get caught as a heat level 1 is you'll hear some sort of, I think, how do I say this? Some sort of, how do I put this? You hear some audio clip that just basically goes, "Duh," like some sort of soundbite that tell you, oh, they found you and you're screwed. So the soundbite is actually very, very very influential to the game in some way, as it basically tells you, uh-oh, I've been spotted, I better get out of here, but still cause chaos. Because, that's one of the things in the game. You have to cause chaos in this game in order to receive more missions. So, yeah, that's another good thing. Actually, that's another thing to keep in mind, is that when you, as heat increases, actually, as you receive heat levels, you hear that soundbite. And of course, you also hear that the guns firing at one another. That's pretty much normal. Is that whenever a gun fires, you obviously hear a bang, 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 bang. It's really nothing new, and so yeah, the weapons, even though they may not mean anything, but they're still pretty beneficial, because I don't think if those sound effects weren't in there, I won't really envision that they're threatening or whatnot. And you'll notice that as I got shot, I basically bled out a little bit. And if you were to listen closely as I started to bleed out, first thing you'll see is that I have a red vignette on the screen, or some type. And what that basically, and along with that red vignette effect, you also hear a series of heartbeats. Those heartbeats are actually very, very important because it's sort of a clear sign to tell you that you're about to die. Your heart can only provide you with so much more blood. You better get to safety right now, or better get some more health, because if you just stand there and don't do anything about it, you're pretty much gonna die. So those heartbeats are pretty much just a sheer warning, if that makes any sense, where it basically tells you, hey, you're running low on health, go somewhere to hide, and make sure you get your stamina back up, if that makes any sense. So another thing that you'll realize that I've been using the grappling hook a lot, so I want to talk a little bit about the audio the work that goes into the grappling hook and the sound it makes when you fire it. So on the Steam edition of this game, in order to fire the grappling hook, you have to point your cursor onto a certain spot, and when you hit the right spot, you're gonna see that these little scaling and downscaling crosshairs, I think, and these tell you, hey, this is a spot where you can grapple, you can grab onto, go ahead and fire away. And then all you have to do is, I think you hit the F key, I believe. Once you hit the F key, you fire your grappling hook. And when you do fire a grappling hook, one of the first things you'll hear once it launches is you hear a boom, like a little boom, a little sound like that, and that just basically tells you. I think a soundbite like that just basically actually tells you, hey, this is a very, very strong and actually very reliable grappling hook, because once it fires, it actually fires out pretty quickly through the nozzle, and once it grabs something, you'll once it grabs onto something, the way I can explain how your grappling hook grabs onto something is that when it does grab onto the nearest ledge or something, basically the sound it makes almost sounds like you're sticking something sharp into something, like maybe like a knife into a knife into a flesh or something, or maybe a nail in a piece of steak or whatever. But yeah, basically that sound in there just basically tells you, hey, I caught something, you better hang on tight. Then we get into when you get reeled in by the grappling hook. When you reel, when you reel, you hear this very strong and little clank clank, this little noise. And what I can gather from that is that the grappling hook that you're using is actually very, very, very strong. It's not going to snap. It's not very dull. This will definitely hold you on tight. And as you progress throughout the air, and I've been using this multiple times, and never mind. So anyway, that's another good thing about the grappling hook, is that the sound it makes when they reel you in, is that it tells you that this grappling hook is very, very strong, and it's not going to break or get dull. So yeah, that's another good thing about the grappling hook right there. And so you'll realize, I'm not sure if you can actually hear, but as you can see right here, I'm climbing this mountain. As I get higher and higher and higher, you realize you'll start to hear a little soundtrack of music playing in the background. So, and from what I could tell, the reason why it was put in there was that it gives you, a little sign. It's going like you're going up way, way too high. We recommend that you be very, very careful, because one slip could actually end your life. So the fact that the music intensifies as you get higher and higher and higher is actually pretty useful, as the game's it's pretty much a dead giveaway, saying you're in a pretty high area. Just be careful just watch your step. So yeah, that's something very nice in the game, and well, yeah. So let's see what happens next. So right here, I'm getting into this. I'm getting into this vehicle, and what I plan to do here is I'm gonna drive it off a cliff, and I'm gonna let it tumble. And and I want you to listen. I want you to listen pretty closely to the sound it makes once it rolls over. So when it rolls over, you'll realize you start to hear a voop, voop, voop. You hear whooshing sound effects. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. In real life, I don't think that vehicles really roll over like that. And also, they may make those little whooshing noises, you know, voop, 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 whenever they make a full 360-degree turn or barrel roll, or whatever. So the fact that they added those whooshing sound effects gives the impression that your vehicle is turning over, and it's turning over very wildly, if that makes any sense. And so yeah, they also found that pretty good. If you get what I'm talking about. Blech. And you may also hear, as the car is rolling throughout the air, you'll realize that some of the pieces of the vehicle start flying off. And as they fly off, you hear these, the sound, you know, like the piece of broken metal banging against each other and rolling on this rocky surface. So, in my mind, the fact that they added that sound in there just gives the impression that your car is coming apart. You better watch what you do. You better watch where you drive. Otherwise, this thing's gonna come apart before you know it. So that's another cool thing that I really like in terms of vehicles. And yeah. I also would like to point out that I also like how the vehicles screech, especially when you're going at speeds up this quickly. Especially if you're going at speeds that quickly. I actually kind of like the way it squeals once it gets itself onto the road, well, yeah, so yeah, the squealing thing, I think the squealing thing is pretty cool. There's nothing much to say about it. I just think it's cool here. And also also you realize that when I drove my car into the water, and even when I shoot it out, even though I couldn't see where the vehicle has splashed into the water, they still added. I would like to think that they still added in the splashing sound effect at the right time. Even though I couldn't see where it is, I think I can calculate or predict, if that makes any sense, where it might have landed. So yeah, so the fact that they still tried to sync up the sound of the vehicle splashing into the water, even though you're facing away from it, is actually pretty useful, as they got the timing of the sound effect right, and the timing of it is actually pretty realistic and pretty convincing. So yeah. I also like to point out that that I also like the sounds that they use that tell you that you hit something, you know, like a bush or something like that. You know, you hear this little or something like that. Yeah. It's nothing. It's not really much to talk about, but all I can say right now is they actually designed it pretty well, and I could basically I could tell just by listening that when I impacted something that's leafy, and you know, that's some sort of a plant. So I kind of like the choice that they picked in terms of, you know, like choosing something like brambles and bushes or stuff like that. So, or plants or trees or whatever. So yeah, nothing much more can be said here other than that. So yeah. Also, another thing that you realize that we this is fun. Anyway, what was I gonna say? You realize that when I hit one of those people, one of those pedestrians, or something, something of that nature, when I hit those pedestrians, you'll hear that that when sometime after I hit them, they say an effect, like I don't know what they're doing. They usually like curse me, saying something like, "Hey, get back here! That was mean," or something like that. So I think that's pretty cool that this game actually had the pedestrians interacting with you if you do something, you know, like worse, bad, or something of that nature. So yeah, so doing something like that, it just basically is one of the ways you can interact with the AI in this game. So yeah, I actually found that pretty interesting. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but right now, the car that I'm driving right now is so damaged to the point where it may have parts coming out of it, like sticking out of the body right now. And like, if you were to listen closely right here, as I turn, you can hear, you know, like a little scraping noise. That's just basically. Oh, also, I would like to point this out right here. I would like to point this out real quick, is that if your car is smoking or showing this black smoke, one of the tips that I could give you that tell you it is just about to explode is that it makes this some sort of, you know, like high-pitched grinding sound, that it's almost on fire. You better get out, otherwise it's gonna explode. And I think the explosion sound effect they included in there is actually really convincing. Like it literally blew up, like kapow, something like that. And so yeah, I really like the sound choice for it. So anyway, I'm going back to the damaged car thing, because as I turned, because I said there may be some parts sticking out of the vehicle, you'll hear that a little scraping sound as I make the turn. That's probably because a piece of metal that holds up the frame of the car has gotten loose and it's now scraping itself. The fact that they added it in there, I actually find that pretty interesting. And so yeah, the fact that they added the sound effect that a sound effect that tells you, hey, you got some metal hanging out from your vehicle, actually is pretty realistic, pretty convincing, and it's also a good play on the sound designer's part. So yeah, kudos to those guys.
Hey, you bastard! Get off my car!
See right there? That pedestrian was saying an effect as I hijacked his car. So yeah. So nothing really new is coming up here. However, so until we get to the thing that I finally want to discuss, I have one more point I want to discuss in terms of the audio in this game. So in order to prevent you from continuing to watching this long thing, which is pretty much just nothing, I'm pretty much gonna speed up this clip right to the point where I want to talk about some certain audio element in this game. So right now I'm gonna speed up this clip and let's get to the part of where I'm gonna talk about. So hang on one sec, please. So about right here is where I'm gonna plan to get myself killed. So about right here, well, hey, I caused chaos. So right here, if when you do get killed in 3, 2, 1. When you get killed, right at the moment that you basically pass away, if that makes any sense, you hear this piece of this soundbite of music or whatever the heck it is, and it's like I'm not really good at trying to mimic it. It's just because it goes dun dun. Basically, that soundbite is basically a sure sign that tells you, hey, you are dead, there's nothing else you can do, please wait to respawn. And I'm gonna be honest right now, when I heard that soundbite, I actually felt a little bit emotional inside, because I feel like that's the best death soundbite I ever heard in a video game. So yeah, it really is pretty emotional. So when I said this game made me feel a bit emotional, that's one of the reasons why. Because the soundbite for death in this game is actually very, very emotional and very well, I wouldn't say heartbreaking, but you know, it really, really captures the sense of emotion in that game. So yeah, that's another good thing. That's another thing I find very interesting in this game. When you die, they make it really feel like you die, and that really is a bad thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
And that was Just Cause 2 and all of the audio elements that make it the game it is today. If you don't know, I probably haven't told you this in the beginning, but definitely one of the things that I really appreciate with this game was how it was making me feel very, very emotional at the right moment whenever it's played. Like as we just heard, the sounds and audio elements that are heard in the game, they are played at the right moment to make you feel emotional. Like whenever you die, the way that music is played, it basically tells you it's, oh, I'm dead, he's over for, stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely one of the things I love about this game, was its audio made me feel emotional. It really has a story in there, and I feel like the visuals that accompany, actually the audio that occurs, that plays when an event action happens in the game, to me, it feels so more natural and more emotional, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I really appreciate the sound designers who worked on this game, because they made me feel emotional whenever something happens. And I think some other people did feel some emotion on this game. I don't know, but for me, it does work. So yeah, this is definitely one of my all-time favorite games. One of the things that I appreciate about this game, when I'm not driving off a cliff like an idiot, I will definitely appreciate all the work that goes into the audio, which make it the game that it is today. And so yeah, that's pretty much my audio analysis on Just Cause 2. And like I said, it's definitely up there in one of my favorite games of all time. And I would actually like to hear from you. Is this one of your favorite games? What are the reasons why you like it? Maybe you can discuss it. Maybe you can tell me if the audio made you feel emotional in some way. It did for me. I'm not sure if it did for you. So, if you like, please tell me your experiences about playing the game Just Cause 2. I actually would be interested in hearing about what you guys have to say about the game. So, yeah. So that was Just Cause 2 and a quick audio analysis of it. And I'll see you guys next time. Later.